sorry, I'm presenting another depressing presentation. But this is the state of the world, so we have to deal with it, right? Okay, I promise it's not all depressing. We have a little bit of glimpse here and there, and we'll try to hold on the glimpse and go with it to a better future for all of us. But imagine that you wake up one day, going into labor, feeling pain in every inch of your body, dying to get the baby out of you finally after long 9 months, to discover that the only road to the hospital was flooded. Even worse, imagine to stay tuned and patiently wait for 9 months to hold your newborn baby between your hands and feel the joy of having a newborn, only to wake up the next day on the heartbreaking fact that your baby was carried by water while you were sleeping. Imagine to work tirelessly in a land for over 3 months, carefully preparing it, carefully putting the seeds on the land, carefully waiting for the cash crops to feed your family and to sell it for income, and then you find that the crops were swallowed by water again. Or in another scenario, you do the same thing and you just wait, and then the rain never comes, and you helplessly watch your crops burning under the sun while people and animal dies from thirst. One more sad reality. Imagine to wake up one day to find out that not only you, but the whole neighborhood was buried under the dust alive after a sandstorm that came the previous night. The previous pictures are showing the reality of people. I wish if it was just a movie or artificial intelligence, but this is how people actually, more than 500 million population of this world, live as a daily reality in their lands. Specifically, 27 countries that are suffering the most from climate change. Not only climate change, but also conflicts and also disasters. Even worse, to make it even clearer, women and children are the most impacted by climate change. Why? For many reasons. But the number one reason is that women are the backbone of the economy, especially regarding food and crops in all of these countries and actually worldwide. They present 70% of the working forces, yet they have no rights to own the land or even to claim it. So when the cash crop is gone, then everything is gone with it. Statistics says that basically 80% of the women who are working on lands, providing food, doing every hard work job, actually don't own the land or even have the right to claim the ownership. Another statistic says that 76% of the gender-based violence and domestic violence actually happens after a climate disasters. They call it natural disaster, but let's face it, everyone, there is nothing natural about disaster. It's a man-made sequence of climate change. Nature is giving, is not a disaster. So please don't call it natural disaster again and call it climate disasters. Well, climate justice means gender justice. But someone will ask me, why? Basically, because all of that statistics and says, and the studies says also that women are the most impacted by climate change. Why they are the most impacted by climate change? For 3 reasons. One, some of the cultural reason. In my home country in Sudan, when a flood happens, more women drown. Why? Because women are not allowed to learn how to swim, unlike men. When a disaster happens and a land gets flooded, as I mentioned earlier, the man can still claim the ownership of the land and can recover by growing the land again. But if 80% don't have the land ownership, then what do they have after the loss of the crops? Well, we all need to act upon climate change. not because it's a privilege or it's something that we want to do for fun, because it's fact that is impacting every one of us, is impacting us right now, and it's urgent as soon as tomorrow, actually a decade ago. Well, I am also glad to inform you that finally the bright spot came. Women are actually the most resilient to climate change, so they are not only victims of it. In every community I went through personally, and my team also, women were the first respondents to any disasters. They were the most resilient, and they actually managed to make the family and the community pass through the hardships of the climate disasters. More than 500,000 women, as I speak right now around the world, are conducting projects to enable them and their communities to adapt to climate change and to generate income for themselves and their families. Yet, women need a lot of help to go through. They need more capacity building and trainings to be able to access institutional finance, enabled to be access to stages like this. I mean, I am privileged, but how many other women have these stages to speak about their problems and the issues that they face in their life? We also need to enable them and empower them economically so they can actually get economically dependent, so they don't get and be victims of the gender-based violence. I co-founded youth women-led network for climate change, peace, and security. And this network have now over 380 organizations around the 27 countries I mentioned before, and we are all working together for solidarity, for exchanging knowledge and experience, and for things that we believe is the most important for the moment. You can all do it. It just needs a small step. And remember, climate change knows no borders. So if you think you are safe, then you are just bluffing. It's time for women to take the lead, and it's time for all of you to take action towards climate change. Thank you very much.